What is up, you guys? Kevin Hale here. It's Round of Shots on this Sunday night, January 26, 2025. Hope everyone is doing well. On my cast of characters here, doing it again. TB, Terry Brown on the dot. Dave, Van, your first time. Well, I've only done, it's only my second show, so good to see you. Only second of 2025. Good to see you all. Got a lot of topics to talk about, good things, bad things, and different things. Let's get started. We are just real quick, people in the chat, bring your questions, comments, appreciate it. We are streaming on Facebook, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and X. Terry, I'll start with you. Let's start with some good news. Kentucky women's bounced back after their recent loss, and they did it. It was I don't know what you want to call it, the precursor to next weekend maybe, but they took care of business today. What say you about the ladies?
Yeah, Pope's been getting a lot of credit about understanding the assignment, but Kenny Brooks has a squad. I know one of our panelists here was at the game, but just watching the way the women play, it's absolutely tremendous. We had Cassidy Rowe on Cats Talk this past week or 2 weeks ago talking about just the team and the changes and improvements she's seen over her time. And, I mean, they're rocking and rolling. So you have to feel that they're probably going to be hosting NCAA tournament game and hopefully get to that second weekend.
Doc, were you there? You were at the game, right?
Yeah, I was at the game. I like what I saw. It was a good bounce back game. A little bit disappointing the previous game against A&M. It looked like they got out physicaled a little bit. And when you can't hit shots, then you're going to lose some games. But it looks like that Kenny Brooks was very, very happy with the way they performed today. In looking at the A&M film, he felt like that was kind of more of a one-off in which the shots just didn't fall. So hopefully they can continue their momentum. They've got the tough part of their schedule still coming up. Two things I've been concerned about, lack of depth on the bench and also physicality. They're going to be tested in both of those areas as we go down the home stretch here.
What you got for me, Dave?
Yeah, I got the opportunity to be a little bougie today and sit on the court, so that's always really awesome. Kenny's got those girls playing with so much passion and so much fire. When things are rolling, that team can get really scary. When they start hitting those threes, those threes get really just dropping like crazy. We didn't see that against A&M. And I agree with Doc. It's getting ready to get real serious for Kentucky women's basketball. Starting with a road game coming up next Sunday against Oklahoma. And then after that, it's Murder's Row. So I think right now they got them as a 4 seed, which would just get them to host. But it's going to be a little tough to hold on to that 4 seed. So we'll see. Very exciting brand of basketball. Like I said, if you haven't been there yet, get there because it's so much fun.
Van, what you got for me, bro?
Yeah, this team is unbelievable. For me, the bench was an issue until Sanaa Tyler. I don't know what happened to her at the beginning of the season. I don't know if she had an injury or what was hampering her from getting minutes, from getting run at all. I think she's a potential difference maker because now Lawrence and in the great Georgia don't have to play 30-plus minutes if she doesn't want to. I know Georgia wants to play them all, but if she needs a spell, I feel very confident with Tyler being in there. And for me, if we can get Lexi Blue to gain some confidence real quickly, she's another wing that can spell the Strack and Hassett duo. Because I honestly, we all know when you get in a tournament, it gets to 7 or 8 anyway. So it's nice to kind of spell some people right now. But at the end, our first 7 or 8, I would put against almost anyone.
I think ST had a little problem with Kenny Brooks' system is what it was. Trying to get up to that. But, yeah, now she's great. I agree.
She can shoot the ball. She's tough. She's a good defender. When they put her on Higginbottom, at least spell Georgia and Lawrence from having to chase her and expend energy on the defensive end. I personally, as a player, I'm glad she stuck around. And now, Dave, I'm glad you said that. Now I'm glad she kind of stuck with it because I know some players, when they don't get it, they're done.
Yeah.
A lot of positivity with the women's team. Coach Brooks, man, game changer for us. And what's
the best basketball team on campus?
Was that?
Huh? Are they the best basketball team on campus?
The controversy has already started. Yeah, we're going to get there. We're going to get there.
Van's stirring the pot, but that's all right.
Yeah, I like that. Yes, I'm all about a soundbite. You know that. All right. What is Doc? You would know this. What's going on with the ladies this coming week? What's their next?
Yeah, they've got Alabama coming up this Thursday. It's a ranked team. I don't know a whole lot about their style yet, but from what I understand, it's going to be a very, very good test. Here's what I've really, really liked about Coach Brooks from what I've seen so far is all coaches have coach speak, but his is got a level of sincerity that I think just makes him a little bit more believable. It does seem like he's shooting a little bit more straight with you. For example, in that Texas A&M game, it didn't seem like he was afraid to call out his girls. You know, he said that Amore and Key, they played hard, but they didn't necessarily play well. But he said the rest of the team just really didn't show up. And I think his quote was, if I have to end up coaching energy and effort and attitude, then we're not going to be a very, very good basketball team. Now, you would never hear Mark Pope say something like that at this stage of his coaching tenure. Yeah,
that's fair.
Everything is positive. Just with Brooks, you get more of a sense of realism. It's almost a confidence that we have as media where we're asking about fatigue and lack of depth. And he's essentially telling you, hey, I got this. You know, you guys aren't at practice. You don't know what's going on. All right. We're going to be in good shape. I like hearing that from a coach.
So basically what you're saying, Doc, is what you hear, you don't have to translate what the coach is really trying to say.
Time will tell, but this far into the season, I get a little bit different perception coming from Coach Brooks. And it's refreshing. It really is after all we've been through.
Now, looking at their schedule, guys, they're like the heavy part of the schedule. I mean, it starts trending up as far as some tough opponents, and it ends.
Don't do that.
But
you were starting something earlier. I'm just stating facts. I mean, LSU, Tennessee, South Carolina, they're the last three, and we'll get there eventually. But
you got LSU, Tennessee, and Texas all at home, which is great. So
that's fair. Just saying.
Okay. They have to be worried about us too. They got to be worried about us.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just sick of
no. In no way am I discounting what they've done this season because they still have these games to go.
We are undefeated at home, by the way.
And I'm sorry, Texas A&M guys, when you go 1 for 18, 21, 17 from 3, you live by the 3, you die by the 3. They died on that day. That's not the norm.
Yeah. It's fair. I mean, earlier you were starting some shit, and I say that's not okay. All right, I get it. That's how you roll. Hey, again, once you guys, the locker guys, come on this show, and somehow, some way, always seem to hijack it. And it's like your Wednesday night show starts Sunday night, and it just bleeds into your 9 p.m. Eastern start time. Just saying. All right, moving on. Now that I got your attention, Van, what'd you think of the college football national championship game? Ohio State. Is it fair to say that they pretty much dominated? It wasn't the final score was 34-23, but the game was I don't think was really ever definitely into the second quarter was never in question. But what say you?
this to me is a referendum on my thoughts on college football. A lot of people want to blame coaches for a lot of things when it comes to football. Other sports you can. There's only 5 guys on the court in basketball. So, but in football, it's more player driven than ever. And Ryan Day has been getting the hammer for not being able to win the big game. Well, I guess Ryan Day in 2025, January, whatever it was, finally found his way to know how to coach and won a big one. Those guys on that team played unbelievable. To lose to Michigan and to find a way to come back together says a lot about that locker room more than about the coaches. For those guys to lose to Michigan at home, right? Wasn't it at home? Wasn't that the Big House?
I can't remember.
Was it the Big House or was it the Horseshoe?
It was at Ohio State.
Because they were planting the flag. They were planting the
Yes,
flag.
Oh,
that's
right.
right,
It was
yeah.
at the shoe. So for them to lose a home game to that team, and for them to come back, now I'm gonna say this though. When you have a playoff with more teams, you can get lucky with the draw. They got very fortunate with the draw. But you still have to win the games to host that championship. So kudos to Ryan Day for sticking the middle finger out to all the national media who's saying he can't win the big one. Well, now he won it.
Trophy in their locker room or at the facility. What you got, Terry? What was your thoughts on the game?
On the football game?
Yes.
We need to stop inviting Notre Dame to this stuff. They need to do something different.
There you go.
They did get to the championship game.
Yeah, I'm tired of Notre Dame. So, but it is what it is. I think the best thing to happen to this Ohio State team was losing to Michigan, because every talking head got on TV talking about how soft they were, and they came out and throttled Tennessee, and throttled Oregon. So, tip your cap to the Buckeyes.
Doc, what you got for me? Same question, topic.
Yeah, when all is said and done, I think at the end of the year, Ohio State was probably playing the best football of anybody out there. So they were very, very deserving of a national championship, as much as I hate to say that, all the arrogant Buckeye fans out there. But I think it kind of shows that this 12-team playoff system may actually be good. It may actually work. It can cull out the champion from out of the depths. The games weren't all that exciting throughout, but I think overall you'd have to say the system worked. I'd give it a B+.
That's fair. Dave, your thoughts?
Kudos to Ohio State. I don't really give a shit about Ohio State in any sport, really. But yeah, I mean, after they throttled Tennessee the way they did, and then they got a hold of Oregon after the controversial way that first game ended, you already knew they was out for blood in that one too. So, like Doc said, it was their playoff to lose. I mean, kudos to them, but I hate them. So good job.
Kudos, but I hate them. Man, there's a lot of people in the sports world is calling this run by Ohio State the most dominant season in college football history. Hold on, let me. I'm just the messenger here.
I'm sorry.
They beat Oregon by 20. They beat Texas by 14. Penn State by 7. Notre Dame by 11. Indiana by 23. Tennessee by 25. Now, here's the other thing too. Their NIL money. That's the other narrative, is that they say Ohio State bought this national championship. Well, I mean, in fairness, it's fair game. I mean, what do you expect them to do? Not go out and get the best players? But anyways, most dominant season, fan?
I'm not a historian, but
Where's
what year
Corey
did
Price?
Miami have University of Miami have Gore and McGahee and
2001.
2001. That's what I thought.
Yes, Frank Gore.
Then the other team
was
that
third
that
on the depth chart.
That's what I'm saying. So now the other team that
wow.
I come back to was Tommy Frazier the Cornhuskers team,
96.
that throttled Miami that year.
Yeah.
LSU's, if you want to go recency bias, when Burrow had Chase and Jefferson and Clyde, come on, man. The most dominant, I would say this, though. That defense was solid. That defense was incredibly solid. But when you get since Dave said he hates Ohio State, I hate Tennessee.
Oh, I hate them way more, brother.
Okay.
Let that be known.
Tennessee, that offense was the problem with Tennessee. If Tennessee had the offense of a few years ago, they breezed through this national championship because they had a great defense, but the offense was not as high power. This is not the most dominant Ohio State team. So
Okay.
nah.
All right. Nah. Doc, same thing.
Yeah, I agree with Van. Defense, I'd say they were more than adequate. That was pretty darn good defense. I wouldn't want to play them. As many points as they scored, I think it was a defense that they had their confidence in that essentially won them that championship.
Dave, anything to add there?
Yeah, I mean, didn't they have like a point in the game where Notre Dame was on the 1 yard line and they stopped them all 4 downs or something like that at one point in time? I think there was a pretty pivotal part of that game. But anyways, I mean, that's dominant as hell right there.
Yeah.
You know, to stop a team, 4 times on the 1 yard line. So that proves it all.
They did say that this championship game drew just 22.1 million viewers, which is the third lowest playoff title game viewership on record. So some pundits were saying that it was due to the 12 teams gave some people, college football fatigue. I'm not buying that, but
No such thing as that shit.
yeah.
Well, the numbers are the numbers. They just drug it out. That was the problem.
Yeah.
Ohio State
go
lost to Michigan like Thanksgiving weekend,
Right.
and they won the championship on MLK Day. That is a long playoff when football is only scheduled for once a week.
Yeah.
It was a tough ass to keep up with all of it because I don't know what games, who's playing what bowl game. So I think even though the college football fans are passionate, I would say there's a little bit of fatigue, and the numbers kind of back that up. Not even the championship game, but the rest of the bowl games as well didn't fare quite as well because it's a lot to try to take in.
Is it fair to say, Doc, that this college football playoff, definitely the championship game, or maybe even the Final Four, should not have happened during the NFL playoffs?
I'm probably a bad person to ask that question too, because when you get right down to it, I am mostly a Kentucky football fan rather than a general college football fan. So if you're asking me personally, I mean, the football season ended when Kentucky lost to Louisville. And that was way back in I can't even remember, in November, right? Yeah, Thanksgiving. And so you're looking at essentially 6, 8 weeks, maybe even more, 2 months nearly of protraction. When, you've got all these other things going on, especially here in Kentucky, when the thump of basketball starts hitting the hardwood, interest is just naturally going to fade. But yes, NFL is always what rules the roost. And I think that would be a legitimate point. You're competing. There's only so much time that people can pour their time and attention into.
All right, let's go next topic. Liam Coen. That's a familiar name around these parts. Terry, this cat, no pun intended, keeps falling forward. He reminds me of Lane Kiffin to a degree. How Lane would, his next job, he would just fall into the next job. It was always better. The whole.
To be fair, Lane Kiffin got fired on the tarmac on the team bus. Okay, so it hasn't been perfect for Lane.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
The AD was like, "Yeah, you got to get off here. You can't come back to the facility." He's had some low points. But go ahead with your question. I'm sorry.
Well, the question is again, really kind of how it all play out. I guess from a Kentucky fan, football fan, that his time here, especially with Levis, great season.
Mm-hmm.
He's to me, he's going to be a cat. He's always a cat. But the way it kind of played out, where I think Jacksonville had an interest in him, he kind of turned it down, and then the Bucs were going to make him a fat offer to keep him and the highest OC in the league, and then turns out Jacksonville got rid of their GM, which kind of sounds like that was the missing. Or
as a 49ers fan, let me tell you something. Balky got into a pissing contest with Jim Harbaugh, and that's why Jim Harbaugh left and went to Michigan after he'd gotten the 49ers to a Super Bowl, right?
Yep.
As a GM, that guy will throw everybody under the bus and cozy up to the owners. That's probably why Liam Coen was like, I can't work with that guy.
Yep.
Okay. That's my 2 cents. And I'm just talking about the drama I saw in the 49ers front office was he wanted all the credit. Didn't want to give any of the credit to Harbaugh on getting the 49ers back up, at the top of the food chain. So that's a little food for thought. But with Liam Coen, I see people being, hey, be good at something. Be good enough that people will do whatever to get your services. That's what I tell my girls. I don't know what you're telling your kids, but be good enough where people are falling over themselves for you. We talk about falling up. Be good.
Yeah.
Be good enough that you've got people bidding against you. Tampa Bay is like, we'll make you the top assistant. Here's the money. And he's like, I'm going to go over here and be a head coach. Right? When he was in Lexington.
It's on the table, right?
We'll give you this. And he's like, nah. And then he came back and he's like, nah, I'm bouncing again. Be good at something. I understand loyalty, whatever, man. Whoever's paying me the most, that's where I'm going.
Van, what you got?
I'm adding 2 more cents to Terry, so that's 4 cents with the 49ers. If you talk about someone falling forward, Balky is one who falls forward. He should have been gone a long time ago. Here's the thing, though, man. If Kentucky Fried Chicken lose their CEO, all right, and says, Van, we want you to be the CEO, I'm going to make sure everything around me, above me and below me, is up to my standard and has an ability to see my vision. I can work with. I got my CFO better be able to work with me. My COO better be able to work with me. Balky can't work with Liam. I'm going to just tell you that. That's all in water. So now if the guy who's making the buying the grocery is shopping at Piggly Wiggly and I want to shop at Whole Foods, we can't work together. So now I'm gonna backtrack and say, okay, I'm not gonna come until you find a way where if you really want me, we need a new grocery box. If you have that leverage, use it. I'm not gonna give up the leverage I have at the ultimate position. I'm gonna be leading this team. If I fail, it's gonna fail on my terms. And if I don't like Balky, I can wait till the next one comes out. So this is business, man. I feel sorry for Tampa Bay. I really feel sorry for Baker Mayfield because those two saw the game the same way. But it's business, man. I'm going to make the best decision for me and my family. So sign a lower contract. If I don't make it, then you got to pay me out, pay my contract out, and I'm still happy. So no, I think Liam did the right thing. Now, how he left us, different story. But how he left Tampa Bay is strictly business.
Fair. Anyway, Dave, what you got? Anything to add there?
Congratulations. I mean, now you turned Baker Mayfield into a great quarterback. So now you get to do the same thing with Mac Jones.
Not Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor Lawrence?
Oh, Trevor Lawrence. Okay.
Yeah.
Where did Mac Jones go?
He's backup still,
Patriots.
right?
He's
Oh,
on-
did
Okay.
Well, I thought he's the backup at He's not the backup at Jacksonville now?
He is.
All
right, now
No,
let's
he's
go.
not with the Patriots no more. We got rid of him.
Yeah, I think
Patriots
he's
are
the
gone.
backup at Jacksonville. But anyways, go ahead.
But okay, yeah. Well, he still has to deal with him. So good luck. But yeah, I mean, like everybody else said, it's business. You know, at least staying in Florida, which he seems to really like Florida. So that's good. Good luck. I know that the Cons own Jacksonville, and I know AEW is a terrible programming. So good luck working for them.
You need to watch your language. I take that over WWE shit anyway.
I'm a WWE fanboy. I'm sorry.
I know. All right, we'll talk later. All right. Anything to add, Terry, Doc? Anything to add about?
Yeah, I agree that it is business, but even within business, there are ways that you can approach it in which loyalty and relationships still matter. And the way he did leave Kentucky, and now the way that he left Tampa Bay, it would leave a bad taste in my mouth. I mean, this is Chinese New Year coming up. It's the year of the snake. I think it's very, very appropriate to apply that to Liam Coen in this particular case. No, seriously, when he was here the first time, even both times he was here, when you talk to the guy, he seemed relatively sincere. He's got a little bit, he's from the Northeast originally, right? He's got a little bit of that Northeast swagger. He went out to California, got a little dash of California cool thrown in there. You never would have really thought that he would have been one of these Bobby Petrino sneaking out of town or things like that. But having done it kind of twice now, you do have to kind of wonder, okay, is there something inherently wrong with his character? Great coach. I wish him the best. I think he's going to do fine. And granted, we don't really know exactly what went on behind the scenes, but you know, when you're
wait, that's why I have you all on here.
Not answering the phone, it makes you a little bit suspicious.
Doc, it's funny to say that, mentioning sneaking around like Bobby Petrino did, except I don't think he took a girl out on a bike. But I think it was something that had to do. He said that his kid was sick and he had to deal with that, but really he was negotiating with Jacksonville.
You can do both at the same time. Come on, we can both.
Yeah, you got cell phones nowadays.
We can be at the hospital. We got cell phones. But let me say this though. This is serious now. In all seriousness, I love the word loyalty. Right? I think loyalty tends more with family. Right?
After a year,
when you deal with business though, when someone can fire you, where's the loyalty? I bet you if Liam Coen had a bad year next year, that Todd Bowles would be like, get out of here, and now he's gone. Where's the loyalty after I just helped you bring a great season the prior season? Loyalty in sports is the most overused word because there is no loyalty. There's not even loyalty between players sometimes. Yeah, once you leave me, I'll say the old guys. Yeah. The old guys, not the new guys, because they play together for so long. And I said that wrong. They have been a part of a structure where they have played games with each other for a long time. Nowadays, in the old time, if you left my football team, I didn't like you anymore. Mm-hmm. So that's fair. When there's the hire and fire thing, I don't think there's loyalty in sports at all.
Mm-mm. Yeah, but a lot of these coaches get a lot of that money guaranteed. So
rightfully so.
Rightfully so. And yeah, rightfully so. Okay. Where we at?
Got to keep it moving, Kevin Hale.
I am keeping it moving. Let's get
where's
some
your board?
Whiteboard, yeah.
Where's the board?
Let's give a shout out, man. I'll tell you what.
Be good.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Carl Anthony Towns, 2025 NBA All-Stars. Obviously, because they are not because I'm saying this because they were former Cats. But I'm telling you what, I knew SGA was good, but I didn't think he was going to be this good. Terry, this kid is, I mean, he's averaging over 30 a game now. Mm-hmm.
My thing with SGA was, I may be misremembering, I'm not a recruiting guru, but I thought he was like in a trade where you get the other players to be named later.
Yes.
Like my whole thing was it Kevin Knox and maybe Quade Green? I think I'm missing somebody else. Diallo maybe on that.
And he was only a 4-star kid, I think.
Right.
Yes,
But it just seemed like he was a late bloomer.
Yeah.
And then it was January, about this time that year, where he finally, Cal was like, we got to start him. And he just started taking things over, right? Gets drafted by LA, and then that Paul George trade ends up in OKC, and they know what they're doing out there. And Shea has just been fabulous. And Karl Anthony Towns, I think he got tired of Minnesota, and now he's in New York, and it's one of those, they got the wrong Wildcat in Minneapolis. Randall's not doing what they thought, and Cat has just been rejuvenated. So, tip my cap to both of them.
Doc, anything to add there?
No, both of those guys are extremely, extremely deserving. I know it's an all-star game. How does the voting go on that? Was that half fans and then half media? I think it was.
Yes.
But either way, those guys, if you look at their stats right now, they deserve not only to be in an all-star game, but to be an all-star team, so to speak. They've got some of these other guys that are kind of holdovers. You put LeBron and Durant and who else on there? But the fans want to see that. But these two guys truly are deserving of that honor. And yeah, I think he was on there with Nick Richards. It's one of those guys. All these other guys, they went to the Nike, the prestigious Nike All-Star game, and then Shea ended up having to stay at this Derby Classic kind of as a consolation prize. And then he turns out to be the best guy of all. Shows you what hard work and commitment can do, and a little bit of talent too. He's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Van, anything to add there? If you want.
For me, it shows what you put in is what you get out. When you continue to hone your craft, work on your craft, your progress can become more linear. You also have to give it up for being in the right situation. There are a lot of great players that are in either bad organizations or bad situations. Billy Donovan allowed him to take the keys and allow him some more freedom than he's probably ever had. And he's paid it forward with how well he's played. That guy is, if you ask me at the midway point, he's definitely MVP of the NBA. And who would have thought that he could have won it last year, but the numbers he's putting out, man, are on a consistent basis, not just a night here, a night here. He's their best player. He's their leader. He's their culture creator. You can tell all the players love playing with him. Unbelievable that he turned out to be this player on this level.
Dave, anything to add real quick?
Yeah, I agree with Van. I think he should be the unanimous MVP. And that team that he plays on is OKC is so young too. They're so much fun to watch. So yeah, I definitely think there's something about Canadians too that come from Kentucky seem to be very, very well. Also, yeah. And with Cat, I think he got a little tired playing in Minnesota, and then playing with Rudy too probably stole some of his thunder. And then getting a chance to go pretty much play back home, for the Knicks, kind of really rejuvenated him. So I'm proud of both of them,
Yep.
So.
Yes. The Kentucky Cats are Wildcats. This one, hold on. I'm going to share this. The next topic. Check this out. This is a situation. Why I brought him on. One is that he could have, there was a good potential chance that he was going to could have been our coach. Glad it didn't work out, because this guy's a piece of work. But check this out. This was Jay Billis giving his narrative about Dan Hurley.
That's who he is. Be authentic and he's competitive. Take Dan Hurley out. If you say that about any coach, I think it's just an excuse for bad behavior.
Yes.
It's
Amen.
just an excuse for bad behavior. And my thing is more about the competitive advantage that is perceived by what they call working officials or trying to influence officials. It's not just that when they cross the line once and lose their minds and get a technical and all that stuff. The referees can handle that. It's the constant berating of officials throughout a game that fans think are influencing calls. So if it influences calls, then that's a competitive advantage and we need to deal with it. If it doesn't influence calls, then it's really bad optics and people have the perception that it does, and I think we need to deal with it. Generally, I think college coaches behave poorly relative to NBA coaches, and I don't think that's a very good look. It's not a crisis. Nobody's suggesting it's a crisis, but I will tell you, I do not buy this. So TJ Otzelberger is not as passionate or competitive as Dan Hurley or some of the others.
He's coaching his own personality.
That's nonsense.
Point is, Terry, is, you know, you watch Hurley on the sidelines. You watch how he goes at officials. What is your take on how he potentially influences a game?
He's a jackass. And like Jay Billis said, I hate agreeing with a Dookie, but he's right. You look at all the major sports, who are the coaches that are acting like jackasses? It's college basketball and then college baseball, right? Because they're kings of their fiefdom. Everyone must bow down. What did Hurley say? I'm a championship coach. You'll listen to me. Okay. My whole thing is, and y'all have seen my tweets, a lot of these coaches like to yell at children. Part of the problem is when they go from college to the NBA, you can't yell at a grown man like that. You can't carry on like that, right? Ask PJ Carlissimo, right? So when we look around the world, where can you act like a jackass and yell at people? You coach college basketball. I've been in emergency rooms with people. Life and death, literally hanging in the balance. You don't see people yelling like that. These nurses ain't got to be MF nurses. But we allow it because it's good theatrics for men's college basketball. That's why we get to chuckle when Mark Pope is like, that's a bad flipping call, right? Because we're used to people working blue with these officials.
Yeah.
They need to grow up. Point blank, period.
Yeah, Pope, what was it? Gosh darn, or gosh, or not? He didn't even say.
Oh my gosh.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. Doc, what's your take on Hurley?
Yeah, Terry, I think you can add Rick Pitino and John Calipari to the PJ Carlissimo list too. You know, where
right? Oh, absolutely. I'm just saying, PJ got hands put on him, right?
Yes,
and that was with one of his players. That's the only reason I said PJ.
Spree.
Yeah.
We allow college basketball coaches to act in a way in which they wouldn't be able to do that in any other portion of society. So that and that alone should make you think that, hey, something's not quite right. Whether their actions really influence the refs or not, I'm not quite sure. I think these refs are just ornery enough or are human enough that if somebody continuously berates them, then they're gonna call things in the other direction. They're going to purposely go against the guy. So I'm not sure how much of an influence issue that is. I think it's just the behavior itself that needs to be toned down.
What do you say, Van?
This is twofold for me because Doc said something about Kenny Brooks earlier. How Kenny Brooks is authentic. This is authentically Dan Hurley, though. This is him. I bet you if his kids are doing something, that's him 100% of the time. Now, my problem is you are condoning the behavior. If you're coming out on the court, dude, and you are saying things, there is a thing that's called, you can put a finger up and a finger across and do that and give the opponent free throws. And then if you continue Now, after you give the one, you can say, "Hey, coach, you skating on thin ice. Calm down, or I'll throw your ass out of here." Okay, one more. All right, boom, you're gone. Do that a few times, and I'm sure the AD or UConn is going to come down and say, "Hey, coach, we're paying you X millions of dollars. We need you on the court." So for me, is you are condoning childish behavior by not doing the one thing that you have the power to do. So if I'm someone who can keep pushing the envelope, I'm going to keep pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
It's up on the refs to do their job and stop being, like he said, he's a great coach, so we probably can't tee him up because it's going to look bad on us. No, tee his ass up and let's see what happens.
Dave, I'm waiting for the right referee or referee group of referees to officiate one of their games that you're not, the ref is like, you're not talking to me that way, and they're just going to give it back to them.
See if he gets a hold of a Sermon or a Shiles or a Pat Adams or something like that. That'll be really fun. The Trail Spreeville, there you go. He is a grade A asshole, and he embraces it.
He does.
And then he kind of gets on the media and be like, "Well, they always got the camera on me." Well, there's a reason for that, because you're a dick. You know what I mean? And that's kind of draw in, and people enjoy seeing that. But yeah, I agree. I think that he probably does need to get tossed a time or two, and then we'll see, how his attitude changes. I don't think he would have lasted very long with the fans. Maybe fans would enjoy it if he was at Kentucky, but the people, higher up, I don't think they would deal with that bullshit. So let him do it there.
Yeah, there's always that, those scenarios where you hate him as the coach of the other team, but you love him if he was our coach. Would our fan base embrace that behavior though?
Rick Pitino was a jerk.
If he won, if he continues to win, I think they'd be a lot more receptive. That's
my point, Doc. Is like Rick Pitino wasn't all touchy-feely with the BBN, but he won a lot of basketball games.
Yeah.
So Rick Pitino had to come to football practice and apologize to the football team for some of the things he said in the interview. He had to come to practice with Coach Curry and say, "Guys, I apologize." So he was a prick.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you win, it doesn't matter. Like, you look at all the crazy uniforms Pitino had, it doesn't matter. As long as you win, who cares?
And bottom line.
Boy, he's struggling this year.
Hurley. Yeah. Let's go. All right. Time for the main event for our show.
Here you go,
Terry. Is the sky falling after yesterday? I mean, and I'm asking this because if you go on social media, X, because that's really how I follow Kentucky fans when it comes to Kentucky sports. I mean, you had. Now, granted, it's by big picture, it's a small percentage, but the problem is with BBN, there's a large group of BBN people on social media, so the volume there's a lot of numbers there, even though it might be a small percentage. But you had a lot of the fan base, ready to fire him, bitching and moaning. And this is one reason why I stopped doing this show, because the disdain that I had for our fan base when it came to negativity, going at the coach on social media, going at their family. I saw, what was the recruit that went to North Carolina? Who is that?
Caleb.
Yeah, well, going at him on social media. I know it's such a bitch move for a lot of people, and. But yeah, is right or wrong, Terry? Is the fan base, where are you at with this? Is Coach Pope hit the ceiling? Because in fairness, I thought our ceiling was not as high as a lot of teams. Have we peaked?
I don't think so. You've got injuries, right? No Carr, no Kerr. I think that's part of it. But my whole thing was you can't just talk about these things in the abstract, right? Like, we lost to Vanderbilt. Well, how did we lose, right? Down by 14 at the half. and I'm nervous. I start cleaning. Everybody knows my get down, right? I'm cleaning my stove during this time. I started at halftime, and then now they're up 7, and then it's like, okay, now you have to close this out and win this one.
Feeling good, yeah.
This is one of those games that got away from you. I think in where we are right now, we have to judge everything. You have to judge a cake while it's still cooking. Well, we don't know, right? We don't know what it's going to look at, in February or March. So we want to do this thing as it's going, but I don't think that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Losses like that happen, unfortunately. So I don't think the season is lost or anything like that, but you can't judge his first year until it's over.
No, I'm with you. Totally with you. But Doc, if you look at where we're at now, what are some of our flaws? Defense, giving up offensive rebounds. It just seems like we give up an offensive rebound at the worst time. We still got some big time games left. This team very well is going to be a 10-loss team this year. Because where are we at? How many losses we got right now? Five? I'm counting. All right, out of those 10, I think there's Tennessee, Auburn, SEC tournament, and the NCAA tournament. Those are 4 losses and maybe one more. But Doc, from your media chair, what are you feeling right now?
I'm concerned. You talked about what the ceiling was for this team and expectations. I think everybody's expectations at the beginning of the year, this team is probably about where they are right now, maybe even a little bit better. But I think partly they're a victim of their own success. The game against Duke, against Gonzaga, the win at home at Florida, where the games where they technically should have lost, they ended up winning. The expectations, the bar got raised significantly so that people are starting to think, okay, yeah, this is a second weekend of the tournament team. This could be a Final Four team. And if you go down that line, then I'm very, very concerned because you mentioned the weaknesses. Defensive overall, they've got a bunch of guys who are just defensive liabilities. Now it seems like that they've been hit with a turnover bug with Butler in his little slump. The injuries, you never know. Creasa may not come back. You don't know how long Carr is going to be out. Butler with his shoulder, it could be dislocated for all we know. Yes, you look at the schedule. Tennessee coming up, this Arkansas game, I know you want to save that for later, but Big Z could come out and hit 5 threes, and before you know it, you've got this 4-game losing streak. Your behind is just getting a little bit more soapy as you're getting closer and closer to sitting on that bubble. I think this is going to end up being a bubble-type team.
Van, carry on.
Oh, here's the way I'm an optimist. Here's for a guy who took over this team when he took over, with the amount of time he had to build a roster, for him to bring all of these, a completely redo on roster.
Total. Yeah.
To have these guys playing like they have been playing, we are also not talking about the disadvantage of playing at Vandy. We have had some good teams in the past. They went to Vandy and peed down their leg too. Having the coaches at the baseline is a problem. Having injury
So
problems.
that's changed though. The last few years, they can do the baseline now, or not the baseline, the sideline, right?
The side.
Yeah.
Oh, I know Dave is not cheering for Buffalo. Dave, hey, get his ass off here, Kevin. Get his ass off. I know he's not cheering for Buffalo.
Okay, just real quick. Taylor Swift is one of the real reasons why I hate the Chiefs. All right, so let's just keep it what it is.
They ain't got nothing to do with it, Dave. Dave,
Nah.
I don't know who you are, Dave. It was nice meeting you for the first time in the history, but you are an arrogant prick, and I don't like you. I'm joking. I'm joking, Dave. Kevin,
Man,
I'm sorry,
I love you too, my brother. I love you too. It's all good.
Dave's like, tell me something I don't know, but go ahead. Yes.
If I could have told BBN before the season that we would beat Duke and we would beat Gonzaga for non-conference, will everyone be elated? Yes.
Yeah, agree.
At the end of non-conference schedule, did not all the national media said the SEC is the best conference in all the conferences, right?
Yes.
So now, if we have the best conference, you just thought we were just going to run through the conference? Do you think there would not be games where you would lose to a team whom you probably don't you're going to lose to? You are being unrealistic.
I'm with you.
Let's see. I'm always the guy. Let's see how the season play out. Because what if we go and beat some of these teams that some BBN fans say we have no chance of winning because we just lost to Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
Each game as a college athlete is a single game. A lot of times it does not carry over. I mean, we just had the women's basketball team go 1 for a million, and now they came up and shoot probably 40% this last game. Each game is its own individual game as an athlete. Here's the other thing, and then I'm going to stop. Being an athlete, the most underrated thing that fans do not take into account is things that happen off the court. They just went through exams. They just got back on campus. I'm going to tell you something. It's January 26th. When did grades come out? Or are you struggling with your new semester of classes? Like, there are a lot of things that go on a college athlete that are undervalued that can affect your mental state. You might have somebody at home in your home state go through something. There are a lot of things that tugging at these young men's psychic with the NIL. I'm sure,
but that applies to every team.
So no, that's what I'm saying. But you don't know what happens to our players at that time. Everybody's affected differently.
Oh, okay. What else? I mean,
man, I need you to talk to my daughter about that. About how college athletes should approach a game.
Oh, I'm telling y'all, man. As I know, I played in the 1900s, but being a college athlete away from home, it can get lonely. I can just tell you. Even with you got your own teammates, when you get into that dorm and it's you with your own thoughts and you go through a bad game, it can be a level of stress that some kids can't get through. Luckily, I had parents whom I can call anytime and talk me through some stuff. But bruh, everybody wants to play college football, but there's a lot of things, college sports, there are a lot of things that go into it that some people put. Yeah, I'm good on that.
Dave, your thoughts real quick.
Yeah. How much time do we got? 5 minutes?
We got a few, but go ahead.
So, yeah, I know I said this last week, but, you know, my bar was set already, you know, at a pretty medium level for this team. Like Van said, it's also really tough for Pope this year because, God, man, the SEC is ridiculous this year, right? I mean, the worst team is 0-6 and they're South Carolina, right? And they're taking, you know, Florida and Auburn and hell, even Mississippi State.
There's going to be arguably about 10 teams in the tournament this year.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So it's going to be really hard to judge this team. I think, like you said, this year we really got to enjoy this team because, as I previously said last week as well, these are a bunch of players on this year's squad that would have never gotten a chance to play at UK, right? And they're giving it all they got. They can't guard a pick and roll worth of shit, but other than that, they're fun, you know. So if they win a game in the NCAA tournament, I'm happy, right? So I am concerned right now, yeah, but we got to steal another one on the road, right? And it would be really great to go down there and beat them bastards down in Knoxville. So
and not give away a game at home. Now, granted, that Alabama game here, my concern, Terry, is that, and this has probably been the MO for this team this year, and it's been fun. I mean, it has been. My expectations were not sky high, and this team has exceeded my expectations.
Me too.
Crazy, but with this team, we basically have to outscore the other team. Our defense cannot win us a game. We can't rely on our defense at all.
Yeah,
And I just think
it
we're
sounds like the 23-24 Cats.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, we changed some pieces, but we were scoring 100 points a game last year, right?
Yep.
Unless I'm mistaken, there's no Corey Price here, so I mean, you kind of have to take it.
I'm totally with
my whole thing is, if you push out a Hall of Fame coach, right?
which they basically did.
Then you've got to bear the brunt of the next couple of years after that.
Yeah.
You know, at some point, I understand the assignment isn't going to cut it, right?
You got to finish the assignment.
All the grace that we've bestowed to this point, it's going to get gone, and we see that this 2-game losing streak. Let it get to 4 games, and it's going to be a question of what assignment did you study?
Right.
Right? I mean, if we are who we say we are, and we don't give passes, at some point, I just showed up, had to assemble a team. It's going to work, but so far, go down to Tennessee and get blown out.
Yeah.
Go down there and get blown out, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just basing off what I've heard the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So if we're going to change it because we like to coach, then the standards aren't the standards.
This is still Kentucky basketball. Yeah,
that's my whole thing. The standards ain't the standards.
That's a good point.
I don't care how many basketballs you sign. What do we talk about? Winning solves it all. Winning.
Yep.
The only through line to all the great Kentucky coaches is what? They won. They did it differently, but they all won. One wore a brown coat. You know, Joe B did his own thing. Rick was this outsider, this carpetbagger from the north. Cal with all his stuff. You need to win.
Bottom line. I got to real quick. Kentucky Mike Ray Davis plays for Buffalo and Reese and cheer for the Bills tonight. That's a good.
See there you go, Van. Okay, I'm cheering for the boy.
But then Ann, keeping the, her take. It's the Mahomes thing.
He sounds like fucking Kermit.
Okay. Tennessee and Auburn. That was a battle last night. I just see us rolling into Knoxville. Was it Tuesday night? Whatever night it is. And just getting our asses handed to it. They're going to give up probably close to 100 points to Tennessee.
There you go.
See, this is the thing.
Go.
My man Drew Brown tweeted about this over the weekend, right? It's the fans, and specifically Kentucky fans. I got a negative feeling. About this game. It's negative. I got a negative feeling. I don't feel right. I woke up this morning and I tied my shoes wrong, so I don't know if we're going to win, right? And they covered themselves because they would rather be right and say, I told you I had a negative feeling, than be like, let's just see what happens, right? I get called a sunshine pupper because I'm like, let's just see what happens. I don't profit. I don't do all this stuff about I got a negative feeling. No, man. And then we won. Like, my negative feeling didn't work. Well, then stop talking about it.
Well, I'm not.
You have to play the games.
True. My thing is, it's not a negative feeling. I'm just in my head based on what I've seen, and how we play against that elite level, Florida, Alabama, which Florida, I'll tell you what, Florida is
Duke, Gonzaga,
Duke
Mississippi
right now,
State.
We play Duke right now. I don't think we
don't
win.
do that.
We don't
do that.
Nope. Because this is what happens, Kevin.
David, they've gotten better than us.
Hold on. If I may, this is what happens, right?
Yes.
Duke beats us, and what happens? It was forever ago, right? We beat Duke, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Right. It absolutely matters if you play during the season. It absolutely matters. It matters how you frame things. If you give the Ohio State loss, right, the Vanderbilt loss, the Clemson loss, you let them count 3 and the wins only count 1, of course you're going to be upset.
I'm with you.
I'm just tired of we're going to lose, and then when they win, there's no ownership there. People would rather be right about their team losing than their team win.
You keep in mind, this round of shots is not a Kentucky fan show. For me, it's a sports show. Now it's up to me to throw out scenarios so I can get the reaction from you guys. It's not necessarily, I can't, here's the thing. This is what drives me crazy. Here's what drives me crazy about a lot of, and there's there's people that do my show that put on their social media, Cats by 90. Well, that's fucking stupid because they're not going to win by 90. So when they get beat, they can say, they can play look at Cats by 90. I wasn't being serious. And then if they win, that's the people who say Kentucky will be 12-0 and win every game in the college football season or go 30-0 in basketball. I don't want on this show. I like the fan perspective, but I also want to kind of keep it real. And that's the part where, you have to just let me play along as
I get it, but at some point society decided that keeping it real meant keeping it negative.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Facts don't give a fuck about your feelings, not you. In general, they don't. I mean, stats don't lie.
Because the thing is, why do we do sports? If you're
it's entertainment.
If you're just here for the championships, you're going to be disappointed.
No, me not personally.
Right? I'm just talking about in general, right? I know, you're here to enjoy things. You're here to do things. And once you make it championship or bust, it's not fun, even if you root for the Lakers and the Yankees and the Cowboys and whoever.
Whoever.
When's the last time you lost sleep over a Kentucky loss, Terry? I'm going to ask this to everybody.
The last time I lost sleep over a Kentucky loss, it was 2006. We lost to UConn in the second round of the tournament, and I'm heated because it was the best we had played up to that point all year. And I'm like, we could have won this game, and I'm hot, and I'm mad, and I'm going to fight somebody. And then my daughter comes up to me, Daddy, can we play now? You said when the game's over, you said we could play.
That's keeping it real right there.
And I said, you know what? And since then, I don't lose sleep. 38-1, it sucked. I don't lose sleep. I got other things to worry about, man. I ain't losing sleep over a basketball game.
Or any sports game.
Right. My team lost the Super Bowl. They gave up a touchdown with 10 seconds left in the Super Bowl in overtime last year. And I was like, was terrible. I kept it moving. It ain't that serious. It really isn't.
Doc, same thing. When was the last time you lost sleep over a game?
January 25th, 2025. Kentucky versus Vanderbilt.
Touche. And you go, you know what?
No, seriously.
I have broken sleep at night. So after the Tennessee game, feel free to hit me up. Text me about 3 a.m. because you're not sleeping. I'll probably be awake because I'll have my bladder is this small.
Yeah, that 20-4 Vanderbilt run right before the half. That was the worst basketball I've seen Kentucky play in forever. I need to be worried. I need to be losing sleep. We got to be able to fix that, man.
Man, we do. Say, Dave, when was the last time you lost sleep? Probably.
I don't really lose sleep over games. I generally go to bed, pretty pissed off about each loss. But I don't.
But you
really
still go to bed pissed off.
Yeah, I go to bed pissed off. Yeah. Just more aggravated, pissed off than pissed off.
I think the last time I lost sleep, literally, I'm dating myself, when Leitner hit that shot. That's the last time I really lost.
We ain't got to bring that up. CBS reminds us of that enough. We don't need to bring that up.
All right. Let's go to next Saturday. So,
you don't ask me the question?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I do. When was the last time?
No.
Come on. I'm sorry. What?
I'm just, I've never lost sleep over football. Look,
As a player, as a true college Kentucky football, did you know?
I lost 12 games in a row. Okay.
Talk about this man gonna have insomnia.
Yeah, I lost 12 games in a row, brother. Over 2 seasons. The streak in the tree from one season to the next. So, I don't never. So, no, I ain't gonna happen. All right, it was funny, but it ain't that funny. Damn.
It was more the delivery, Van. It was more the delivery.
Oh, that's cold.
You were on campus when it happened, so you know how it was.
Oh, thanks for making that fun. All right, Calipari in town next week, next Saturday. Is it, Terry? Even though Arkansas, one win in the SEC, they're if you think you got it bad, there's always someone who has it worse. What's your right now your take, or is BB, will BB cheer him before as he's being introduced, or how will that return go?
I don't know, and I've seen Seth Greenberg and other folks in the national media kind of chastise the Big Blue Nation. Like, look, y'all know I'm rough on Cat fans because we can be ridiculous. My wife asked me often at dinner, what are Kentucky fans mad about? Because she asked me, because there's always something that's come up during the day that Kentucky fans are mad about. And 2, what happens on Sunday has nothing to do with Saturday or Monday. It's all unrelated. Sometimes it's valid. But I say that to say I don't need Seth Greenberg or whoever telling Kentucky fans how to feel. Right?
Yep.
This is the second big thing that really hasn't happened across anything else. And that's when Rick came back, and now Cal's coming back. And we don't see coaches, we don't see Bo Schembechler going to Columbus, right, Van? We don't see this cross kind of whatever, and Kentucky fans are supposed to be rational. Boo, cheer, whatever your heart desires. I don't care.
Rational.
He deserves cheers, but if you want to boo him because he's wearing a hog and going pig suey, then boo him.
Well, good God. Doc, from a media perspective, how does this, next Saturday, how do you play up to the next Saturday?
I think the reaction will be mixed. I think there'll be probably equal amount of cheers and boos. I'm hoping that the cheers will predominate. In fact, if it were up to me, I wish he would get a standing ovation when he's introduced because of the commitment that he poured into his 15 years here. Then once the ball is tipped, then boo the heck out of him. But I think it would be a classy move if the fans would give him a welcome ovation. The guy's rolling in here with a bunch of house money. He's got nothing to lose.
Van, what's your take? Calipari's return.
I can say stuff about Twitter finger fans because some of them can be pricks like Rick Pitino and everybody else y'all say are dicks and pricks. But when I pay my hard-earned money to go inside the arena and cheer on my team, you do as you may. As long as it's not out of hand, as long as you're not saying things in a certain way. But if you want to boo that man, you pay money to come in the arena. You know how much money it costs for you to 2 people, 2 seats, parking, traffic, do as you may. Now, in all honesty, though, this guy brought us a national championship. It would be great for you to recognize him as he's here, unlike some people did with Joby Hall. Recognize him as he's still here. Give him his flowers as he's still here. As Doc said, give him an ovation when he's initially announced. Then boo as hell until you cannot boo anymore.
During the game. Right. Exactly. I'm with you. Not just yeah. Of course, the national championship is the end all be all, but there's a couple Final Fours too. I mean,
No, I mean, come on, y'all.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
He has after the guy before him. I'm not gonna say Billy G's name. Ooh, I said after the guy before him. What he brought back to this great program is where it should be. So come on.
Yeah.
He brought us happiness for a long time.
He did. Dave, when are you, I don't know if you're going to be there or not, but if you're going to watch,
Yeah.
No, what's your reaction going to be?
I've already had to take a 1 second mortgage out on my house for a couple of things. I can't afford to take another one out for those tickets, right? Look, Cal is going to want to come in and beat our ass, right? So you need to treat him like any other opposing coach. There's going to be a time where he's going to get his flowers. He's probably going to get his name in the Raptors, as he should. But have fun with him, like Tom Leach said last week. I think Cal will get his feelings hurt if he doesn't get some kind of booze, from the Big Blue Nation. So I think you need to treat him like any other coach, boo him, beat his ass, and then on his way out, tell him thank you. We'll see you in the Raptors someday.
There you go. All right. That's what's coming up this week. We are over the 60-minute mark, and I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Let's go final shots. Terry, what you got for me, brother?
Shout out to the Aurora University women's lacrosse team that is getting ready to start on their season. My oldest, Sarah, is out there playing as a freshman defenseman. So shout out to her. My youngest decided to take up track, so I've been messaging Van feverishly. She's decided she's going to run the 200 and 400 meter dash. So this is just proud papa moment. And I can't remember any time the girls got a C or below in forever. So my girls are doing it. So I'm going to give my final shot to those Brown girls.
Dang. Talent on the field and in the classroom. Gotta love it. Doc, what you got? Final shot, sir.
Yeah, today during the Kentucky-Arkansas women's game, they had some special recognition for Pat Summit, the We Back Pat game, the annual game where they recognize Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is a horrible disease. My mom died from it. To see the matriarch of her family, who was so capable and could do everything efficiently, suddenly just lose her mind over the course of several years. That's heartbreaking. That's gut-wrenching. It's affecting more and more people. We just need to continue to bring awareness, contribute if you can. It may just end up saving all of our lives one of these days.
Good stuff, Doc. Van, final shot, sir.
Oh, man, final shot. Look, I know not everyone, there's a lot of fans within Big Blue Nation who is upset with Stoops in this last season. I am one of them. More upset with the locker room than the coaches, but we have to also give him praise for flipping this roster around. I don't care what anyone said. I don't know what the season's gonna pan out to be. Don't know what the record's gonna be. But if you really look at what they did in this offseason, they won this offseason probably more than any offseason that they ever had. Coming off a 4-8 season, to pull in the players that they have pulled in, Wolf and Morrow and Stoops brought in a brand new offensive line. They have checked a lot of boxes. Now, as I always say, it's up to those guys to perform on Saturdays. But if you cannot vision that they won this offseason, I can't sell you ice in Alaska, because you can't see anything without having the hatred towards a person who has brought this program to the most success it has ever had in program history. This offseason was a win for UK football.
When we eventually get to the point on this show where we really start leaning into Kentucky football, definitely going to have you and A-Dot on and go heavy there. But thanks, man. Dave, final shot, sir.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot. I know
I just need one.
Well, I'm saying I have a whole lot going on to talk about. I know it's still kind of cold as shit outside, and I don't know about you guys, but I still got about 6 inches of snow on my side of the street because I get all the shade on this side of the street. But whatever. But springtime sports, we need to start thinking about that. We have like 19 days until Kentucky baseball's first opening game. So I would definitely encourage you guys to start thinking about getting ready to start cheering for, the softball cats and the baseball cats and get ready for that fun season. So, yeah.
All right. I get a real quick, my final shot of the show. Dan Dakich.
Man, fuck him. Fuck him.
Yeah. I just have to say it. This is the proverbial, if you're a sports pundit podcaster, and you're not getting the clicks or view, go at Kentucky basketball. Go negative, because there's a freaking huge fan base that will be like, oh yeah, mother, I'll come back at you. He called the program what irrelevant, that we suck, blah 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 blah. He basically WWE, AEW pro wrestler style cut up heel promo on the program and just waited for the reaction, and it worked. It worked.
He had the fucking nerve to call us irrelevant whenever he has an Indiana jersey hanging right over his shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay, what irrelevant? It's right there behind you, Dan. Man,
It is.
I'll punch him in the face. I did something good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It was funny because for the record, we started our little shots with that segment. Tom Leach was on last week, so I've got some people. I actually had him in mind before this came up, only because I knew he'd have something to say about Kentucky sports. But anyways, we're past that now. Good stuff. Thanks, guys. What's the score on the Buffalo Chiefs game?
29-22 Kansas City.
Okay, how much were we at?
Don't sound so disappointed, Dave. Don't sound so disappointed.
10-14 left. We're
right.
good.
All right, guys. Everyone in the chat, thanks for hanging with us. Thanks for the comments. TB, Doc, Dave, Van, good to see you all. Latrell, spree.
As a deep cut, right?
It was, yeah.
I miss our troll we had last week that gave TB the name Tony. I don't know where he is.
Yeah, well, you can't just start renaming black people. We got laws against that.
All right. Wishing everyone a good week. We got Tennessee Tuesday, Arkansas Saturday for the men's. Women's real quick. Doc, who's the women's got this coming week?
Yeah, they got Alabama.
Just Alabama. Okay.
Alabama.
All right. Everyone have a good week. We'll do this again next Sunday night. Peace out. Go Cats. Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.